Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. It's your boy, Chrissie Mayr. I'm just trying that out. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us right now on iTunes, please go and leave a 5-star review. For example, here's this great review from Chuito79. Chuito, found you on Tinfoil Hat. Love your content. Keep it going. Yes, thank you, Chuito. Short but sweet, to the point. I love it. You know what else is short but sweet? One Soul. No, I don't. That's not really a great segue. It's fine though. This episode is brought to you by One Soul. One Soul is the original interchangeable shoe. It began in 2001. It is an interchangeable shoe that you can change hundreds of different tops on different soles in a snap in seconds. And I'm gonna bring up the little screen here so you guys can see just what this, because I'm a woman in tech now. I can bring up my own screen. It's known for its comfort, and it's the perfect sole for traveling because you literally only need one sole and a handful of tops. There are hundreds of different tops available, but One Sole is known for the comfy neoprene top that fits your foot like a glove. You can even customize the tops with any photo or logo that you want. You can put a picture of your dog on your shoes. You can put a picture of your grandkids on your shoes. Look at this. Martinis. This is right up my alley. I'm about to be like a Florida mom with these things. It has been featured on ABC News as best product made in America, and it was a season finale winner on Shark Tank. It sold throughout the world and was created by a pharmacist, Dominique McLean Bartit. And for all my CMP listeners, go on to onesoulshoe.com, use the promo code CMP. You're going to get 25% off these little betties. Isn't that great? And these are like reasonably priced too. Each of these little tops are like $12. The soles themselves are, well, it's on the website. I'm done. I'm not going to click around forever for you people. Go to onesoulshoe.com, use the promo code CMP, get 25% off. Go get it. Get some for your mom, get some for you. That's all. Okay, guys. Oh, yes, I read the review. I did the thing. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guest. It's his birthday today. So hence my earrings, hence my sort of festive top. Very excited to have this comic on. He's a comedian. He is Mexican. I kept getting comments that I need to diversify my guests a bit more. I need to, not be so white. So he's Mexican. He's a comedian. He's a cripple. He's a cripple threat. It's the Cripp daddy. It's Donovan. What up?
Oh, well, thank you.
That
was
boy.
Quite the introduction.
You are welcome and you deserve it. And I wore this top because the buttons pop off sometimes without my knowing. So I figured what better day.
I don't think I didn't notice. I was very, thank you.
You're welcome. And before we started recording, your mom poked her head in and said happy birthday. And you were like, wow, this total stranger from the internet, Chrissie Mayr, said happy birthday before my own mother.
Yeah. And you know what? You said more boobs in her too. So that's something I appreciate.
She's going to have to step it up. And that always happens on your birthday. Like you get like text messages from, like someone trying to sell you something, or it's like Barnes and Noble wishes you a happy birthday before, like, friends you've had for years or family members. Yeah. And you're like, great, thanks a lot. I guess I will buy a book.
That's what it is. Like I have this whole like existential dread this morning when it used to be that I had friends that would wait around till midnight to be the cheesy, like, happy birthday, I was the first one to say it to you, haha. But like this year, none of that.
None of the midnight birthday wishers? Wow.
Not a single thing.
That's fucked up, man. And so do you know your birth time?
No, I'm not a white woman. My mom knows that.
Come on, get your mom in here.
My mom is the woman that does like the birth charts and shit and everything like that.
Really? Yes. Yeah. I'm so into that stuff.
I bet you are.
You're so funny. I loved your I didn't mean to bring in a tweet right away, but I do fucking love your tweets, and you do have a real observational command of white women just in general.
I do. I have a strong, like, it's a love-hate relationship with white women because, like, the second part of me loves them. They're great. But like the male side of me, let's just say it's lucky I'm in a wheelchair because I probably would have punched some of you by now.
Really? What makes white women just so punchable? I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I want to hear your take.
God, where do you even begin?
This is the tweet. White girl, this is so good. White girls nowadays sleep with black men and act like they're the white people that sat in the colored section of the restaurants back in the 50s.
Well,
Oh
okay,
my
so
God.
you know what inspired that tweet actually was a family friend that we have. Uh, her- she's so fucking insufferable. Like I grew up with her. She is a childhood friend, and she does nothing but fetishize black guys and act like the most hood rat fucking girl. But she grew up in like the trailer parks.
Is this her right here?
And no, she was more like the other one.
This
She's a mix between her and her.
okay. So little tats on the face.
Hmm.
Just very outspoken about her love of black dick, which we all should be, honestly.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, it's like I get it, me too, but shut up. Get a personality outside of what dick you're sucking.
Yeah, exactly. Cause it's like, all right, people like what they like, and sure, put it out there, be proud. But it's like it's this extra little part of like the savior,
Oh
the
yeah,
white person savior element of it. Like,
it's especially because like she's had kids with these black guys, and none of them stick around, and yet she
oh
thinks
no.
that she's like she keeps going to them, and I don't get it.
Oh man, it's like it really does suck when the stereotypes really like come to life
Oh,
before your very eyes, and you're like, ah.
stereotypes are there for a reason.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like even the most woke person has laughed at a stereotype at some point in their life. And that's
Yeah.
what really kind of bothers me lately, like really the last year, but forever generally, but specifically last year or two. We all laugh at stereotypes. Like, why can't we just come together on this and let comedians be funny and let jokes be jokes? And I don't know. I think you're kind of an important voice in this because I think that you can get away with saying like real honest shit. And do you feel like you get more shit
Oh, yeah.
because of your situation or less shit because you're like, what? I can speak on this. This is my life.
A lot of people would assume that I could do and say a lot more, but I mean, the one thing I will give, like SJW, cancel culture, whatever, is that they don't give a fuck who you are. If you say something they don't like, you're dead. You're, I mean, and so and that's cool. I give it to them. They're all inclusive with who they hate, but
They will hate everyone. Yeah.
everybody. I knew another group like that, but they got
Who?
wiped out around, well, the Nazis,
Yep, that's true. They did hate a lot of people.
except for themselves, their own kind.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of shit. Yeah.
Why do you think you get so much shit and who do you think it's mostly coming from?
I know exactly who it's coming from. It's always white women. It's like, I
Wow.
would say 85% white women are the ones that are genuinely mad at me. Uh, and that's always funny to me to point out. But I think I get a lot more shit because in their logic, I should be better. I should I'm expected to act like higher than what I should because I'm in the position, quote unquote, where I'm like the crippled Mexican guy who has a platform. I should be using it for good, but instead I just talk about how white women suck black dick, and it's
And it's like, who are they to tell you what to do? Like, they didn't help you
no.
create your platform. They didn't help you gain a following. They didn't help you hone your comedic voice. Like, the reason why people follow you is because you're fucking hilarious and you're honest and you're real. And it's like, well, now that you have this big following, they think they can just come in and tell you what to do with it, which is it's so gross. And then it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, I got here because of who I am, not like, but you know what it is? It's like I think they try to that's how they want celebrities to be too. Like, well, you have a platform. You have a platform. I get that too. Like, you need
Yeah.
to be responsible with your platform. It's like, No, or I could just tell dick jokes. Thanks. If you don't like it, please go. See yourself out. Like, no one is forcing you to be on Twitter. No one is forcing you to watch videos or even go to comedy clubs. And it's the people who give us the most shit are the same people who would never go to a comedy show or wouldn't go to either one of our comedy shows. They're just they love to just bitch. And I don't know. It's like it would be like us being like, well, we really hate pizza, so we're just gonna keep people from. It's like, mind your own fucking business. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. The notion of having to tell people what to do when you have a platform is so baffling to me because, like, I'm 28 now. Like, I don't know.
Happy
how the fucking
birthday!
Thank you. I have no idea how the fucking world should work. My legs don't even work. You want me to tell fucking how society needs to behave? Like, I feel it's common sense. If you need the crippled guy to tell you, hey, black people are cool too, you're fucking stupid. You didn't have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And for people who aren't familiar with you, you have something called spinal muscular atrophy type 2. I didn't even know there were multiple types. It is a genetic neuromuscular disorder. It affects your motor neurons. So basically, like, there's an issue between like what your brain wants your body to do and telling it to do that.
My body's fucking retarded.
That sounds like the next John Mayer song. Your body is retarded.
Yeah, I would let him sing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I would lose myself in his eyes.
I would let him sing. He could sing whatever he wanted at me. He could call me all the worst things. But if he were singing at me, I'd be like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Where's that zipper at? Yeah.
Fuck, take me.
There's actually this guy that I've been following for a while. His name's Matt Nathanson. I was like, had the biggest crush on him, like in the early aughts, like when I first got to college. He was like the singer-songwriter. He was basically like a less famous John Mayer, but John Mayer was already in the John Mayer spot. So I feel like this guy, just timing-wise, is not as famous as he should have been. But he like came to my college, and I just was like, and he signed my shirt, and I was like, splooge. And I hadn't listened to him for years, and I just like caught one of his videos like a couple days ago, and I felt that same like, I felt like a young woman again.
I love that.
And I was like, he could do anything to me.
Have you reached out to him since then?
No, I should. Maybe I should have him on the podcast. Maybe I'm famous enough now that he'll finally pay attention.
You can be in a position of power, and then you can get me too'd.
Yeah. I've been canceled by woke Asians.
What did you do to piss them off?
I pissed off the woke Asians when I did like this kung flu fighting sort of spoof over back in March, because Gal Gadot, I don't know if you remember her thing, like she and her friends sang a line of Imagine, because she was like, this will keep the peasants happy. This will let them know that we're down there with you. Yeah. And then so me and my comedian friends, we sang a line of kung fu fighting, and then the woke Asians came after me for a good 6 weeks, until finally it was taken off of Instagram as hate speech.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was them. The people of Utica have come after me because I said that their town was like, everyone there was on meth, and it was like just shitting on typical Utica stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been like a bunch of random different groups. So and I feel like, probably as you do, like the more you kind of get I don't know. Do you feel like you've had mass attempts, like groups of people trying to cancel you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was an incident around when the last Avengers movie was coming out. This disabled woman wrote a article for MTV News, because that's still a fucking thing.
Wow.
They're desperate, believe me, because the article was why the length of time for the new Avengers movie was ableist, and it was such a stretch, because it boiled down to like, people need to pee medically sometimes, and a 3-hour long movie is a lot to ask, and I think it's
oh Oh, wow. Okay, so it was ableist because it was such a long movie that people
Yeah,
who need to pee, which I guess only disabled people need to pee in the course of
yeah,
3 hours.
yeah. No, nobody else needs to fucking pee in 3 hours.
Not coffee drinkers, not
Nope.
thirsty people, not the small bladdered community.
Mm-mm. Nope. And when me and my other crippled comedian friend called her out on it, we were just joking around, joshing around on Twitter. Dude, they came in hard. So like they out of left field, we were called racist, we were called fucking misogynist, everything like, and it was so funny seeing them just really reach for shit. Uh, there were multiple articles written about us about that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. It
I
was a
want to
good time.
find one. So what was her name that you made fun of her?
Oh god, that's a good question. I think if you look up something like uh Avengers Able, I have no, or
Avengers
maybe even my
ableist.
name too. One of those articles show up. It was fucking wild. And what was more crazy is we never brought up her race at all about the situation, and she automatically was like, I had people calling me the N word in my DMs now because of you guys,
No.
and I was like, well, sorry about that, but I didn't tell them to do that.
Yeah. Wow. So, and it seems like have you ever gotten somebody who came at you to shit on you and then like realized like you have spinal muscular atrophy type 2 and then are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't like, has that ever made a difference?
It's nobody has that guilt anymore. It's either they flat out ignore it, and once you get called out, they just kind of blank or block you or lock their account, whatever, hide, or they double down. There's no in between.
Hmm. Wow. It's like, what happens to all these sensitive, inclusive people?
And that's the funniest part, too, because it always starts off with, I'm trying to be better by teaching you that you're being bad. And then they'll go after my disability, like every time.
So it's like, yeah, it's not that you're inclusive or sensitive or have some sort of moral high ground. It's like you're just angry that people don't think like you, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. They're just as bad every time.
So, Donovan, when did you find? I mean, like I know that what you have is something you were born with,
Mhm.
and so it's not like you just like woke up at 20 one day and like felt different. How did your sense of humor? Because you're fucking hilarious. Like, how did your sense of humor develop? Like, at what point did you find yourself being like, "Wow, I'm really funny," or like, "Wow, I want to perform"? Like, how was that process like?
That's a really solid question. I think, I mean, it was always a fucked up sense of humor in my family. My grandpa, he was a fucked up guy, but in the funniest way. And he made sure to never like baby me or shelter me from the world. And that was my mom's dad. So when they found out I had my disability, I was really young, and she was a young parent stereotype. She was straight out of a fucking after school special.
How old
That
was she?
she 16.
Aw. But now she's
And
a young hot mom.
yeah, exactly. So she's fine. She's living her life. And she got her own apartment. She had a job. She was finishing up school. Then she finds out that she couldn't even make a baby right. So she had a mental fucking like breakdown, and my grandpa came over and told her like, "Hey, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna raise him like everybody else. You know, don't try and play it soft to him because the world's not gonna be as kind and caring to him.
Hmm.
So treat him like you would every everyone else." And that's just kind of factored in to what it's like now.
So your grandpa was just like a real ass dude. He's just like, yeah, like there because thank God, like, and even now there's like, you know, so many people with they're not struggling with any kind of a disability, but they cannot handle any kind of a speed bump in life, any kind of
Yeah,
a rejection. Like it's we're kind of now seeing like I thought like you're like what 9 years younger than me, but like we're starting to see now like a lot of like young adults that are just
oh,
not equipped to handle any kind of setback.
yeah, they're completely incompetent with anything. Like it's always somebody else's fault. It's uh, whether it be their parents, their friends, systematic, whatever. Like fucking, it's out to get you, and it's like, yeah, everybody has a sob story. Everyone has a reason why their life is the absolute worst. But what are you gonna fucking do about it? Complaining about it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna fix my body. Sitting around feeling sorry for myself. So I just kind of laugh at it.
So I'm sure you were like, yeah, always laughing about it, had a good sense of humor about it. And so how did that turn into like, man, I want to do comedy. I want to do stand up.
My again, back to my grandpa. He always really liked stand-up comedy. He introduced me to the classics really early at a young age, like Carlin, Bill Hicks, Monty Python, and I never really even thought about doing comedy until maybe uh, 4 or 5 years ago. Up until then, it was just like me dicking around on the internet and just being goofy and not really caring. And took notice to a few different like YouTubers that were popular and really cool. Uh, and yeah,
Like which ones were like really jumped out at you as like, oh, these guys are doing it.
Justin Whang is probably hands down the reason why I have any sort of relevancy because he's like this weird, like almost diplomat between so many different groups of art. Like he's a musician and like the death metal scene, and he's friends with like comedians and whatnot. So it translated very well. His retweets are very valuable.
Has he ever retweeted you?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Ooh, okay. So you like kind of know each other.
yeah. He's a cool dude. So fucking cool. His
Wow.
YouTube channel is very good.
Justin Wang, like with a W, like Wang, like
Whang.
oh, okay. All right.
He's good.
I'll note that for my notes. Okay, cool, cool. Where was the first place you ever like what like club or what was your first kind of like attempt at stand up like?
It was a shitty fucking dive bar here in my hometown that had an open mic night, and it was one of the best worst incidences that I've ever experienced, but I loved it. It was so much fun because like the entire place was full of nothing but like middle-aged white dudes that looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter
Wait,
doing like
are you in Georgia?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. Okay, okay.
Yeah. No,
Close.
and yeah, that's fine. Fucking basically the same thing. With the amount of methods we have here, so
Mm-hmm.
uh, and nobody was doing comedy. Everybody only did music there. But I called up in advance to say like, do you guys would comedy be fine? I don't know. They're like, yeah, that's why we've had people do comedy here. But that night was just all music, and
So it's like your classic like open mic night, yeah, which
yeah,
normally is mostly just music, which it's very tough to try to do comedy to a crowd that's like used to listening to music because music you can listen to like so passively. You don't have to be like
yep,
engaged. Like you can really get away with not listening. And also a musician is not looking for yay, or
mm-hmm,
like a visceral reaction like a comic is.
exactly. And I didn't go into that really knowing that environment, but I learned very quick, and it was such a fucking a great experience because the stage was like lifted, and I don't know if you know about how most stages are with comedy clubs. I'm assuming you do. Not a lot of them have ramps, so
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask about that because now
mm-hmm,
it's making me think like I would think most places are not
no,
handicapped accessible at all. Like they're not even
no,
thinking about it.
no, and I have a power chair, so it's not like a easy lift wheelchair. So I had planned ahead, and I brought my own ramp to the this
Wow.
venue, and it was a whole ordeal of going through the back door, grabbing it, bringing it inside, having everybody be like, "The fuck is happening?" and then adjusting the mic. It was an awkward
Uh
situation, and as soon as the entire thing was happening, it was dead quiet. People are staring. I'm fucking nervous. And then I just, so, yes, I know what it looks like. And I'm just going to tell it like it is. I have dated an underage girl before. It wasn't my fault.
That's awesome. So that was your opening joke.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
must have immediately gotten a huge laugh because it's like
they weren't expecting it, and that's what got them. Yeah.
Because what they are expecting is a whole like, this is what I have. It's
Mhm.
okay. That's fucking great, man. It's like you're just like, and then you're using it to your advantage because that's what they when you start in comedy. Like it took me years because you always hear more experienced comics. You gotta find your voice. You gotta and you're like, what the fuck is that? I don't even know. Find my voice. I'm talking right now. You gotta hone your
Right, yeah.
voice. You gotta put in your time. What's your brand? And like it's like boom. It's like all right. You already know what you're gonna talk about. You already know like what your like what your place in
Mhm.
the world is, I guess. Like and people it's a kind of do you feel like it's helped you in a way because it's
Yeah, I would say in some aspects it's definitely helped because the the coping part of my brain just naturally tries to find humor in everything like a fucking sociopath. I don't have emotions. Uh, I just laugh at everything to a fault. It's so bad because I can't be taken to anything serious at all. Because
like no
I'm
funerals, like no
oh no
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 brists or what else would be like I mean, yeah, really a funeral is probably the most serious thing. Or like
yeah
to visit someone in the hospital. Nobody wants to do that though. I mean, that's a bummer.
dude I had to go see my girlfriend's mom while was going through her cancer shit, and so thankful that her mom was a really good sport and super cool and just knew how to laugh because man that would have been so bad for me in so
Where
many ways.
how did you meet your girlfriend?
Tinder,
Oh, wow.
the loveliest love place of them all.
There's like real love there. Okay, cool. So
Mhm.
that's great. I'm sure do a lot of people ask you, "Oh, is your girlfriend also disabled?" Which is a dumb
They
question.
do. That's a very shocking question to me because I would never date a disabled person. That's fucking disgusting. That's so gross. Ew. No.
I have standards.
Yeah, like I fucking why would I go for the broken one? That's so dumb.
So like, I mean, did your girlfriend know anything? I mean, did you feel like you had to spend a lot of time like in the post swipe time of
Yeah.
Twitter? I've never been on Twitter. I got a boyfriend just as it was coming out, just as it was like, so I missed that whole
Right,
era.
yeah.
Did you feel like you had to spend a lot of time like explaining your deal first, or
I kind of used my Tinder as just I let it be known what I was about right up front by joking about it. I forgot what I said. I think I used a fucking really gay, cheesy, like, yeah, I'm in a wheelchair, but can't walk out on you. Ha ha ha. Please, I'm sorry. Just, I'm looking for somebody to suck a dick. Uh,
wow. So you're like a real romantic.
yeah, I like to think so. I'm Latin, so like it's just a part of the way I.
A Latin lover. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
think that's a woman's biggest qualm that I hear from Twitter is like, oh, he lied about his height, and it's just so funny the fact that you could be like, yeah, I'm 6 feet tall, but I'm sitting down, so whatever.
it's fun. Yeah, and yeah, so she knew right away. Like I Tinder in the Midwest is so gross. I hate it. It's the worst fucking thing because there's only two types of women. There's the wearing pink camo and holding a dead deer like a trophy, like, and
Okay, so outdoorsy hunters.
yeah, and they're like, I'm not your typical girl. I like hunting, mudding, and trucking, and it's like okay. And the other one is the listen. My son comes before anyone else. He is my life. He is my king. I'm like, okay.
Wow. Yeah, definitely that second type of woman I think is everywhere. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just geographic specific. I don't know how that happens. I feel like if I had a kid, I'd be like, look, you're second always.
yeah. And that's okay. That's fine. So trying to find like somebody real on there is hard.
Did you get a lot of like I don't know,
Oh no.
shitty women being like, or like I don't know. Cause right, probably not, because you put it all out there.
Yeah, no, I did not get a lot of
It'd be
matches.
it'd be hilarious if you just didn't mention it at all, and then you go to the first date, surprise.
I thought about doing that, but deep down, I am fucking like, it would kill my anxiety. I would be so nervous.
It would be like maybe possibly a hilarious thing to watch, but like probably not worth it to actually go through it
But you know,
yourself.
now that you say it out loud, like, I'm more upset that I didn't commit because I would do some shit like that.
I could see you doing that now, like,
Yeah,
but
I
that's the
would.
thing is like your girlfriend would be like, "Hey, you're back on Tinder,
Yeah,
Twinder."
but you know what? I think if I told her in advance, she would do it. She would let me do it. She's
That
chill.
would that would be great. That'd be really funny. That would be a good like promo video for like a show. So how long have you guys been together now?
A little over 2 years now.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow.
Yeah.
Where do you guys like you're thinking about like moving in together, any of that stuff? I mean, maybe it's still too early for that.
Oh
Two
no, she
years.
basically did move in around the beginning of the pandemic because there was no
Right.
way I was going to go this entire pandemic without nutting. Fuck that. I would have
without
killed myself.
without nutting. Yeah, thank God. It's like you got to I feel bad for the people who like didn't really have somebody or even like a standard like, whatever.
Yeah,
What's the word?
yeah.
Fuck boy. Yeah, just somebody you can call on to come over to nut as you will.
Yeah, the dick appointment, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Do people ask you all the time like, "Does your dick work?"
Oh, all the time.
Is that
All
the
the fucking
question you're
time.
most sick of hearing?
Yeah, yeah. It probably like I get the curiosity. I do. I understand that. I'm not saying that it's inappropriate. It's just like it's all about the who and when. And a lot of the times when I've been asked, nobody does anything outside of like, oh, it does? Okay. And you would think that that would lead
And they
to
move on.
something.
Yeah.
Like I would, by just statistics alone, you would think that somebody would ask and then be like, yeah. But no, it's never happened. It
They
gets
just
me so
walk
pissed.
away. Because what would be a good follow-up question?
Okay, does it work? Yes. Can I see?
Let's see it work. And you're
But
like, no,
then,
I have to charge for that.
yeah, that's the only fans account.
I want to bring this up. This is so funny. This was like on In Hot Water, which I had no idea this is one of my favorite shows, obviously, because I have a show on Compound Media as well. But this was so funny. So they have this guy, his name's Frankie McDonald. I guess he's like kind of retarded or something. I don't know. He
Yeah,
like
yeah.
does the weather. And then this was like I think when I was like worlds colliding. This was so funny because he's like a frequent caller of In Hot Water, and then
Hmm.
you call in with this, which is so funny. Let's pull it back.
Welcome. Cradle Young Crip! Hi, what's up? Hey, buddy, what are you doing? I saw that there were some other disabled people on, and they looked really cozy, and I wanted to get in on that. Also, I gave myself AIDS. Best show of the week.
See, what I loved about that though is that there, right after Frankie, there was this other guy. I don't know his name. I'd never heard of him before, but he was talking to them about how he beat coronavirus while also having HIV.
Wow.
And they were just giving him shit like, how'd you get AIDS? And he was so defensive. He got very quick to like, I don't need to talk about that. Like it
Whoa.
wasn't my gay. I'm not gay. Not that I have problems with gay people, but so I thought that was really fucking funny.
Right. If you're gonna brag about that you beat AIDS or have AIDS, like be prepared for the follow-up question too.
Yeah.
Just like you were prepared for a follow-up question about your dick.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I would want to know how he got AIDS. Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. If you're worried that people are going to think you're gay, you'd be like, "Oh, I got AIDS. I stepped on a needle, like outside of, I don't know. I was in Chelsea walking around. I don't know. You'd have a
Yeah.
reason that's like, I know that makes me sound like that's my first example. Like clearly you were walking around Chelsea
Yeah,
in the
you stepped
70s.
on the AIDS needle. It happens.
It's always on the corner of 5th and 24th. It's a landmark.
That's why I can't have cats anymore.
Yeah.
I'm always around and getting AIDS.
How did you get like with the In Hot Water guys? Did they discover you?
Yeah, again, one of those just trickle effects of tweets go viral and whatnot. And Aaron and Gino, they reached out to me to be a guest on the episode a while back, almost a year or so ago now. And right before the pandemic was serious, I was going to open up for them in Chicago. And we were going to do a live
Oh,
podcast.
wow.
But that was before like lockdowns and mandatory like quarantines were implemented, and I was like very much on top of the coronavirus shit from the very beginning. Like I remember seeing an article about how China was building a new hospital in like less than a day, and I was like, that's weird. That's a little fucking weird.
Yeah, that's a little suspect.
So we gotta keep an eye out on that. That they were like, oh hey, it's in Chicago. And I was like, no. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is gonna be like. So I'm gonna nip that in the bud and I'm not gonna go. And everybody gave me so much shit. Like at
Really?
first they're like, dude, you're overreacting, fucking you're being a bitch, you're letting fear. And I'm like, okay. And then like a week later, everything was shut down. Nothing could happen. You couldn't even leave without getting shot.
When was the show date supposed to be?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was
February? It was like real early?
yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was around this time.
I was like kind of the opposite. I was like, let me just do them for as long as I can. Like I headlined in LA like March 8th, and like it wasn't as full of an audience as I would have wanted, but then I had the perfect excuse of like, oh, of course, like all my fans are marooned on a cruise ship somewhere, or like all my
Right.
fans are clearly like got stuck in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I came back and we did one more in Philly. It was like a Comedians of the Compound, like I think March 12th or something. And that really was like things were starting to get shut down, but the people of Philly do not give a fuck. Huge
No.
props to them. They're all there. They're like, I don't care. Cough in my face. I want to live. I want to drink. So that was
Yeah.
like a great time.
Oh, for sure. But and just for the record, I don't give a shit whether or not people wear masks or not. Fucking just don't do it around me, man. That's all I'm asking. Kill your
Yeah.
grandparents. I don't give a shit.
Have your feelings or like I guess nervousness around it, has it changed over the past like year or so?
At first, it was a more genuine fear of like, come on, guys, let's take this shit serious so we can, pick up and move forward. Because right now, nobody's listening, and that's just prolonging all of this. But after the initial, like, God, people are fucking stupid, you just learn to accept that, oh, yeah, people are stupid. Fuck, I forgot. That was my bad. I forgot for a second. I had faith in my fellow man. Fuck, my bad. That now I get it. I understand that there's more nuance to the situation. It's not black and white. That people need to work. People need to put food on the table, and it's just be smart about shit. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you're still like kind of careful. Like do you worry about like your girlfriend or your friends or people who visit you, like where they've been, or you're just sort of like,
Yeah, I'm still cautious with my circle. Like even right now, I am trapped in my room because my brother's aunt, who we spent the weekend with, tested positive.
oh man.
And so everybody in the house is like confined to the room for the most part. My mom will come in, wear a mask, spray down before coming in my room. But like, it was really funny. I wish I could get her in here to tell this story. But they were
Do you
going
have like a do you have like a button for her? Like, does she, like, if you need something, I don't
right
know.
like a bell.
I imagine there should be like a bell or a button set up, or I would just yell.
Usually I just like scream like, "Hey bitch," and she comes in. But she gets really, I don't know why, but because she's not, but she starts respecting my space whenever
Aw.
she knows I'm doing things like this.
Oh,
Wh-
okay.
But any other time, it's like I could be mid fuck session, and my mom's like, "Hey, dinner's done."
I don't know what that is. I think it's like this our parents' generation. Like, because I grew up, I was always sharing a room with my sister. Like, I did not know privacy until I like went to college, until I was like 17, like, and had my
Yeah,
own like solo dorm room, which was actually weird. Like, the weirdos were considered like the people that lived in like the solo dorm rooms, but whatever. Like, we just got it by random.
no,
So like shared a room with my sister, and my mom was just like, she was the barge in queen. Like, she would get upset if the door was like shut or locked. Oh, a locked door, it would be like the end of the world. And she would like barge in. Like, if I was in the bathroom, she'd just barge in my room, like, just barging. You're just like, oh, I have to be okay with the fact that my mom will come in,
no.
like, while I'm in the bathroom. She'll just be like, oh, I need a tweezer.
Yeah, that's my mom too. I hate the parent knock where they knock, but while opening the
They're
door.
what? Yes, they're knocking as they're. By the time you hear the knock, you see their dumb head.
I hate it. God, it's so infuriating. But
So yeah.
so my mom and my brother were going to get tested yesterday, I believe. Yeah. Either way, so on their way there, my young brother, he's like, God, I'm a piece of shit brother. He's like 12, 11. So he's younger, and they're just dicking around. My family has a fucked up sense of humor. We just do. We all are pretty dark in this family, and my mom was just like discussing whether or not he should go stay with his dad, and he doesn't want to. And my mom just playing around was like, "Okay, that's fine. You can stay here and just kill your brother. No big deal." And
Oh, she was trying to guilt him in like a fun way.
just in tongue in cheek way. But then she hits a stoplight and turns around because he got dead quiet. And she turns to look at him, tears just streaming down his face.
Oh, he loves you.
And was like, "What are you doing? Are you crying?" He was like, "You said I'm gonna kill him." And I didn't mean to. And my mom was like, "I was just fucking joking, dude. Relax."
Aw.
He got a new video game.
So he's good now.
Yeah, he's fine. My mom
How
felt
does
like shit.
I love hearing that your family's dark, because it's like that mine kind of was too growing up. Like, we just had like the way that I am on like podcasts and radio shows, or like the banter, like the back and forth, like just shitting on each other. Like, that was my family's dynamic. And we
Oh
were
yeah.
just, everyone thought they were hilarious. I mean, like, they were more just like very comfortable taking shots at one another, because like we weren't great at being direct about our feelings. Like, we spoke
Yeah.
like the language of passive aggressiveness very well, but like to
Mhm.
take a family member aside and be like, this is, you hurt my feelings by X, Y, and Z, unheard of. Like, we would just wait, bide our time, and then get them later.
Oh yeah, and that's what it was too. That here we don't emotions. You
You.
gross. What the fuck, dude? Are you feeling around me? You queer?
So we were just like, you just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a shot. How did your family feel when you started getting into comedy? And of course now, like, you're like a huge Twitter presence. Look at you, got 80,000 followers. You're crushing it. How did they feel when you kind of became more, started doing shows, sort of became more of like, I guess, a public figure, if you will?
I don't know if my mom took it very serious until I started talking to like real like comedians. Up until then, I think her mindset was just like, "Oh, he has his fun on the internet. He does his little thing. He does a YouTube, I think." Because all my other brothers were like the star athletes of the high school, and president of their class and shit and whatever. And she became like the football mom for so long, and I made fun of her because that was not the mom she was with me, like
Really?
at
Are you the
all.
oldest?
Yeah, yeah. and it was just a complete dynamic shift. So like me doing the comedy stuff was fine. Nobody was opposed to it or whatever. But I think now they realize like, oh, he's actually doing cool things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your mom had to go from like, right, I mean, taking care of you to being like, did it seem weird? Like she's like, oh, now I have these like other, is it just you? Are there 3 of you total
Yeah.
or
Me, my mom, and my 3 younger brothers.
Wow. And they're all like sporty types.
Not my youngest brother. He's more of the stereotypical, like, I like playing video games.
Classic kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So I remember when I was, well, my family gave me a ton of shit because I started out doing improv, and my mom, dad too, everybody would be like, how was clown school? You know, every day it'd come because I lived at home still because I would like work in the city, do improv, come home. How was clown school? And they always like would make fun of like, because there's a lot of weird people in improv, like you know, there's theater kids, there's like musical theater kids, there's like actors, gays, and then like that guy who's like, I'm just trying to increase my public speaking skills. And then you have divorced guy, I'm trying to make friends and get back out there. And then you have just like horny lurker guys like this, I'm going to meet a 25-year-old woman. So you have all that, and like a lot of weird looking people too. My mom would always say, she's like, you're wasting your best dating years in improv. You're wasting these are your prime dating years. You're doing comedy. And so I felt like, man, what would it take for these people to like really take me seriously? And I think probably my mom's dead now, but it would have been something like a late night comedy, like Letterman or something. Right. I don't know if that even would have been enough. So did you have a moment or like someone that you've worked with that maybe made your parents or your family realize like, oh wow, like he's doing his thing, you know?
You know, that's a good question. I can't speak for her, but I think even as of lately, it still kind of like hits her in waves because she was at this like virtual concert thing with her friend in town here one day, and they had like just a small group of people over, and there was a guy there, and my mom was like describing my room for some reason, and the guy overheard her and was like, "Wait, what did you say?" And she described it again. It was like, holy shit, is your son Donovan? Are you mom?
Wow.
And that was cool. That was weird. So she had like that, people know you? What the fuck? You're not even that big a deal.
Hold on. Did you say gigantic Arizona iced tea bottle?
Yeah, exactly. And so that was cool.
That's very cool. That's like a genuine fan moment.
Yeah. And I've only had like a handful of those, and they're still weird every time.
But it probably made your mom like shit her pants. She's like, oh man, yeah, it's like people know you.
Yeah, she called me and was like, white mom, like, oh my god, look, what happened? I was like, Mom, it's like 4 a.m. You're not 22 anymore. Get home. You have a family.
Wise wisdom. I really love your videos because like your edits are so funny. Do you do all the editing yourself? Like I want to pull up a good example.
I work alongside with my best friend who has been there since like the very fucking beginning. And me and him, we jive on each other's comedy. We get it. And because that's the hardest thing when I feel it comes to doing projects with people is like, you got to be able to get along and understand the humor with stuff like that. And
yeah, you need like a shared vision, really. Like that's the most important thing.
And I've had plenty of situations where I went in hopeful, like this is cool, and then about halfway through, you're like, God, nope, this was a mistake.
Yeah. Okay, so you're like comedy partner, like he does the edits, and you kind of like tell him what to do.
Yeah.
I want to add this in because this made me laugh so hard. And also this is something I wanted to bring up anyway, because you have a project going. Here we go.
Some of you might know.
Hey guys, so some of you might know, some of you might not, but I have started my own GoFundMe recently. And I've done so for a few different reasons. The first reason is that transportation has been a bit difficult for me for the last few years now because I don't have a handicap accessible vehicle, and those are a little expensive, believe it or not. Shocker, I know. And the second reason is that with COVID being a thing, it's kind of put my comedy career at a halt, as it has many other people. But with comedy clubs finally starting to open now, it's thankfully opened that door for a lot of people, but it's still difficult for me because I'm high risk. I still have to be very cautious with putting myself out there. And I thought I could tackle both of these problems at the same time by raising money to get a bus and use it as a portable studio and stage. I thought it'd be a neat little idea, cool and fun, different. And I could do comedy out on the road. I could make it a little stage, and we're already over a quarter of the way there. And truthfully, it's mind-boggling that so many people have come to my support and show me that they care and believe in me this much, because I just can't, believe that. It's hard for me to even concept why. It just fucking blows my mind.
Aww.
You know what I mean? And I just wanted to say that I'm very thankful for it, and we're going to continue to move this forward. And I will do everything in my power to not let you down. And it means the world that you guys believe in me.
Aww.
And I promise that no matter what, none of this is going to get out of hand. Please support my GoFundMe.
None of this is going to get out of hand. This is so great because this is just what you're talking about. A lot of these clubs are not like handicap accessible. And if they are, it's just like you'd rather not just worry about having people around. And this is pretty a dope idea. How did you get this idea? Number one. Number two, I'm going to see how close you are. But yeah, how did you get this idea?
You know what it was? And me and my girlfriend I was baked out of my mind. I was gone. And she was like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she put on The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, whatever.
Never heard of it.
It's a good movie. I love a good anthology movie, just multiple stories wrapped in one. And there was this one story of this guy who had no arms and no legs, and he has like a manager that takes care of him, and they just hit the West Road, the fucking desert, and across the Wild West, and he just tells stories. Like, that's what he does. They're a traveling show. And that didn't end well for him because the dude ends up like killing him.
Oh no. The manager guy killed him?
Yeah, because he's useless. He finds a new act.
Wow.
But the initial idea was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to bring back traveling shows? That would be fun. And
yeah.
I thought, how would you do that in a newer era? And I mean, that just came to mind.
If you need a bearded lady, I mean, I can get to work on it, If
you could, that would be really cool.
Okay, great. Yeah. Now, would this be just you, or you'd be like, oh, right, you could expand, you could like put, would you work with other comics? I guess you could kind of. Yeah.
Yes. I thought about having it be also like a traveling studio, like for podcasting, and I could just meet up with different people and, do a podcast and then have them stick around for the show, maybe even do it after the show kind of thing, bring in people that came out.
That's so cool. And I just checked and it's like, yeah, you're almost, okay, I'm going to say almost halfway there. Ooh. When did this go up? You're at 8,310. Yeah, this was created January 27th. All right, you're going to get there. And what happens if you don't get there by, what's the date? Like, is there like a due date?
No, I didn't make a personal one because I found it best in life to not have expectations.
Yeah.
For anything.
Because they're only going to be dashed. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But this is awesome. Yeah, guys, if you have a spare dollar, check out this GoFundMe. I would love to perform on or near a bus. This is great.
Have you heard of Girls Gone Wild?
I have. It was a little bit before, that show was very popular before I had boobs. Unfortunately, they kind of grew after the popularity of the show had subsided. So I feel like I really missed out there.
Excuses. If they could have gotten people on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, you could have gotten on that bus.
You're right. So are you thinking of like a Crips Gone Wild scenario here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying no. But I'm going to be all inclusive. Anybody, you want to show your dick? That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think this could be a really good idea. And I'm doing a bit of a tour. God, did I mention my dates? I would love to, if I can get you on one of these shows. You're in Illinois. Let me see. I'm doing Dallas, the 19th and 20th, Pennsylvania, the 26th, New Brunswick, the 28th, Florida, April 30th, May 1st, Wisconsin, May 7th and 8th, Oklahoma City, May 9th.
Where in Wisconsin are you playing?
Skyline.
How far is that from like the northern Illinois region?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, because Wisconsin, is that near Illinois?
Yeah, where I am. I'm like right near the northern border.
Okay, that's probably because I don't have anything else even remotely near that. Because then I have Nashville, Alabama, Tampa, Ohio.
I don't even think I've ever been to Ohio. I
been.
forgot Ohio existed.
Yeah, Ohio's so forgettable. Aw, I was there once to do this thing, like it was called like Laughs on Fox. I think I took a lot of Adderall and like did my set, and then when I was done, I just I had to stop taking Adderall because like yes, I would get a lot done. Yes, I would like clean my whole apartment, but I would just like crash. Like I would get anxious, and then I would get like really thirsty, and then I would get crazy headaches, and I had like one time I had to like curl up in a bed with a cheeseburger. I don't know. It's not very glamorous. But yeah, maybe this Wisconsin show, we can get you up on that. I'm gonna see if it's a BYO ramp or
right, yeah,
what the deal is there.
I'd make it a precaution to just I treat it like a condom. I bring it with just in case.
It's always good. Always just have a ramp around. You don't want to get splinters on your dick. No, that's not even funny. Have you ever had moments where you've like you get frustrated, I don't know, mad at God, mad at the world, like what do you do? Because for anybody who's listening who maybe is dealing with like a disability or something that is you could get real depressed about real quick, like what do you do in those moments?
I think that a lot of people, I go through an inner conflict, admittedly, because a lot of people see it as, surface value of me being who I am. And that's because this is who I want people to see, but there's obviously that whole other side that you don't see at most times. And in those moments, shit gets really sad. It gets really depressing. It's hard. You go through the motions of it all, but I think I kind of cope with it in that I know that I'm going to feel it, and that's natural, It's important to just let yourself feel the shit that you need to. And also keep in mind that it's not going to last forever, those feelings, you got to take some responsibility. I'm not saying that it's the smartest way to go, because obviously I probably should be in therapy, and I maybe should be on a medication, but I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not going to off myself, even if I wanted to. Can't do it. So
you need like, Mom, get in here.
Bring the fucking razors. I'm done with this. Just pull the trigger real quick.
You'd be like, can you just like give me a shave on my beard area real quick? And then you're like, hiya! And you try to get her to do it.
Yep. God, that's
a horrible. Please don't do that. Yeah.
I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind.
Oh,
if
no.
That ever happens, remember, it's your fault.
And they're going to cite this podcast, and I'm going to be taken away in a bag.
Mm-hmm. You'll end up like my brother having a meltdown. Don't worry, my mom will buy you a new video game, though.
That's if I get a new video game out of it. Yeah. Oh my God, my boyfriend just downloaded this game called it's called Untitled Goose Game. And
Yeah.
literally the whole, like, you're a goose and the person you're playing with is a goose and you're just trying to fuck with the farmers. Like, you're just trying to like pull things out of their pockets, pull things
Mhm.
away from them, objects that they need. Like, you're really terrorizing this small town. Like, there's a boy and you trip him, you take his airplane, you put it on this thrift shop table and you get him to pay for his own airplane to get it
Yep.
back. You take his glasses, get him to, you trip him, you take his glasses with your little beak and you're like, and then you have to hide them. And the whole game is this. I'm like, this is my favorite video game because usually, I don't know, too much graphics, or like I don't need to always see in like
Yeah.
3D. I don't need it to be so realistic. Like that's very overwhelming to me.
Oh, for
And
sure.
all this, like you have to be able to shoot behind you, and like I don't know. I know this
I
makes
get you.
this. I know this can sound like old and lame, but like I love this Untitled Goose Game because it keeps it simple. You're just like, yeah, it's cartoonish. You're a goose. You're doing goose shit. You're getting into trouble.
Yeah.
You're goosing people.
And that's kind of the metaphor of life, is that everybody else takes themselves so seriously. Sometimes you just need that goofy, doesn't give a shit, doesn't take it too serious.
Yeah. So tying into our serious topic of
Mhm.
dealing with these hard moments, that is so important too. Like knowing that it's temporary, knowing that it will pass. Because when you're in it, it doesn't feel that way at all. Like when you're
No.
in it, you can just get in a loop and you can spiral, and then that's been your afternoon, and it like takes a hold of your day.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like you have to keep in mind that there's always going to be hardships in your life. There's no avoiding it. There's just getting strong enough to accept them and deal with them, as well as you can. And also keeping in mind that it's okay to fuck up every now and again, feel bad, but that's pretty much life. It's just one big fuck up. You're not gonna be happy forever, you know. Expect to be sad and then expect it to be over with.
Have you gotten people reaching out to you that like you've inspired? Because you're for sure inspiring so many people, more people than you can even contemplate. People that you'll never even hear about, know about. People that will never reach out to you. Have you had people, reach out to you, emails, messages, like?
I had people tell me that I inspire them, and it's so weird to me because I feel like there's a huge part of like my generation now, and people in general, I think, that would love to have that feeling of like I'm doing something, I'm significant, to a degree, but like it just makes me uncomfortable, to be honest. Because I get it. I'm not saying I'm not thankful for it. I mean, if people can take something of value out of the dumb shit I do, then cool, that's awesome. I just never outwardly set out to be that, and I think that's what people like, you know.
Yeah, you're not trying to be like a model citizen. You're not trying to be like, look, I am the voice of the crippled Mexican community, and I am very important.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people do take themselves very seriously, and that's the whole Instagram influencer shit, like just fucking unrealistic expectations of life and how happiness works, and it's just people peddling you bullshit for anything.
And so much of the internet is that, like the
Yeah.
fake people, it's heavily filtered, not being honest about like their situation, their fears, whatever, right? Or like peddle, not that it's like you can't peddle wares or have sponsors
Right,
or whatever.
exactly.
But yeah, and people are looking for something that's raw, that's real, like your real personality, not just like, oh, this is who I would like. I mean, we all do that, like on stage or
Dude,
even
yeah.
on my podcast too. Like I, for sure with stand up, I am kind of presenting like a character more so than like when I'll do a podcast, which is
Right,
like,
yeah.
because I couldn't keep that up for an hour, I mean, for like an hour of recording, like just pretending to be like whatever, this
For sure.
bad bitch all the time. So I think there is like people crave like realness because there's so much bullshit and fake and like people lying to us like in our government, in our whatever celebrities. So I think that's why people love you so much. It's like, oh, this is a real dude.
I also get a lot of hate as well. I get an annual, like daily hate mail from one person in particular. And
Really?
oh
You have
yeah,
to- Who is this person? Should we out them?
Their internet name that they emailed me with is John Smith.
Oh wow, how
which
brave!
Is definitely real.
Yeah,
it's 100% his real name.
Or he's a Disney character. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking underage Native American women.
Really? Oh, right.
But he's been emailing me just the most outlandish, fucking over the top hate. I hope you die today. How does it feel knowing that you're a burden to everyone around you? Shit.
Oh God.
But it's comical to me. It's not like I posted screenshots of all these conversations throughout the years because it's just funny that somebody's that dedicated.
Yeah, and I'm sure you do know, but this person is miserable. They're just not having any good days. It's if that's a thing that someone with who has good people in their life and they provide value, that person probably feels like he provides no value to anybody. He's not feeling loved. It's you have to look at that's the person that's fucking disabled. You know what I mean? Because that's, you can't, if someone a normal person doesn't like you, they just move on with their day.
Yeah. And I've even as of the last few days, was all right, man, you've been doing this for the better part of 2 years now. Let's just call it. Do you want to be on my podcast? We can talk.
Wow.
Let's just talk about this. And he's pussyfooting around it. How do I know? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm you don't. But
wow. Good for you.
Because I'm not going to be hostile about anything. I'm just going to genuinely be what's the deal, man?
What's the deal? On? And I can bet you that he would not have the balls to say any of that stuff to you. Kind of even this is not face to face, but this is more when you're just sending an email. It's I feel like this guy's a huge pussy, and good for you for calling him out. It's yeah, I see you. Come, let's talk about it. Come on my show.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't give a shit.
Good for you. And that's the thing is you have to confront these things and people, and you're most trolls, right? You could ignore them, but you have this very dedicated troll. This is almost crush level, secret admirer level.
I love him, truthfully.
Oh,
he's great. Everyone else comes and goes. You hear, "Oh, I love you" all the time, but hardly do you have somebody dedicated to you dying. So,
did he wish you a happy birthday yet today?
You know what? I haven't checked my email. He probably has.
Happy birthday. I hope you die today. I hope today is your last birthday.
Yeah.
Love John Smith.
That's very on brand with what he would say.
Well, I'm going to be very curious, and I'll be keeping after you, watching to see if this guy actually does your podcast. If he does, I definitely want to listen because he'll probably just use it for therapy if he actually has the balls to do it, which I don't think he will.
No, he won't.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about your bus project. I know it will happen because it's too good not to. Everybody follow Donovan at Real Young Cripp on Twitter. Are there any other social medias you want to plug? Any other places where people can follow you, support you, etc.?
I have my YouTube channel, which is just Young Cripp TV. It's spelled how it's there, but with TV at the end. And I have a podcast with me and my mom called Cripp in the Cradle. We do very infrequent uploads, but when we do drop them, they're always fun, they're always good, and we're going to be recording again very soon. So, yeah.
I love it. Donovan, you're the shit. Can't wait to see everything you accomplish in the future. Your bus, I want to get on that bus. I want to paint my name on it or something.
Please.
Yeah, hopefully we can get together in Wisconsin. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.
Oh, I hope you have a wonderful birthday.
I will.
I'll have to send you a picture of my boobs after this.
Please and thank you. That's your charity word for the day.
Thanks, Donovan. Bye.